Hey beautiful people, my name's Brittany, and today I'm really excited to share this cool thing about RV living, which is essentially how we live, two of us, live off of under 13 gallons for 4 days. I'll show you what I mean by that. Here's our freshwater tank. The total capacity of the tank plus, like, if you figure what it can pump through the system is 13 gallons, and we don't fill it up completely. We fill it up to about here.
How are we looking?
Getting there. We use that for 4 days for 2 people. What we use that water for is washing our dishes and flushing our toilet. Then we pump different fresh water, usually from Barton Springs here, because we're generally in Austin in RV life, and that's what we use for drinking water. I'll show you that in a second. This is where I chose to house the freshwater tank. It used to actually be like right over here, built in underneath of this booth seating situation, which I took out completely. And you used to fill it completely from the outside instead of using this doodad. This is what it looks like with the top off. You can see where the freshwater pump is down there. This is what pumps it from the tank through our system. And then you can also kind of see down there, there's a tube that goes outside. So if we wanted to be parked in one place for a long time and just be hooked up to the water, that would come in directly from the outside water hookup, and it would bypass this tank completely. When we first started living in the RV a couple years ago, it was a little challenging to adapt because with less water, you just need to develop different systems. But we rapidly did adjust and found it really fun to figure out new ways of doing things like washing the dishes. In general, when we wash the dishes, we play this kind of like marrying the water game, if you can imagine it. So I'll kind of show you what I mean. Okay, so these are like some common dishes we use. Usually there's some silverware in there too. So if I was going to wash all of these, I'd start by putting everything in the sink so that it can collect the water as I go. Then I'd start washing one of the things. I just usually put a little bit of water in, a little bit of soap, and then sort of rinse it out, usually just with our hands because we just generally tend to have fruits and vegetables. And then I'd pour it into this thing and then wash that thing out. And then I'd pour that into there, wash that thing out until the end. And usually that gets just about all the water, and then you can go back through and do like the final rinse out and let them dry. I mean, it seems really simple, but it's kind of amazing and ingenious. And we found that we can wash like a ton of dishes with, I don't know how much water because I've never measured it, but it's probably under a gallon. And then not directly related, but for cleaning things, we tend to fill up this little water bottle, which then I put essential oils in and just sort of like spray down the counter and then wipe it with our cloth. So then going on into the bathroom, it's funny to have this door closed because we just generally don't at all, but I thought it looked kind of nice. This is our toilet, and if you've never seen an RV toilet before, how it works is that there are 2 levers on the side, and one opens up the water and then one opens up the bottom of the tank where it lets the waste go into the black water tank below. So this is just the rinse that lets the water in, and then the flush is both of them, which opens it up. In a typical toilet, I think the tank capacity, I'll look it up, is something like 2 gallons. So every time you flush the toilet, it flushes something like 2 gallons of water down the toilet, which always blew my mind. I remember in when the water would get turned off at my house and I would like manually fill up the back of the toilet tank and realize like, this is how much water we're wasting, like especially every time you like just pee a little bit. So in general, I started, I don't know if your family observed this, but like if it's brown, flush it down. If it's yellow, let it mellow. But our pee generally isn't even yellow. It's usually completely clear because we're super hydrated. So we don't even really need water to flush most of our waste. So we just have like a quick lets it go down. At night, we like to turn the pump off so that we don't run water anyway, because the pump's a little loud and it can wake each other up. We do it right over here, and it's really simple. Flip in the switch. And I've enjoyed doing this so much that I generally tend to practice these same things even when I'm not in the RV. So if I'm at a coffee shop bathroom, I'll go to the bathroom, I use our toilet paper over here, wipe myself, and then put the toilet paper in the trash can instead of putting it in the toilet, because we don't put the toilet paper in here because it'll clog up our tank. And voila. So it's just, yeah, it's, again, maybe this is something you've done before, but it just kind of blows my mind how much more water, like if I pee 10 times a day, which is really common, I could be using, say, 20 gallons of water just to flush that pee, but instead I generally don't flush it at all, especially if it's like super hydrated pee. It just like totally blows my mind. Going on to showering. We don't tend to shower in the RV, although I will show you there is a shower back here. There's a full shower, but we really prefer to bathe in natural spring water. So we generally just go bathe at Barton Springs. Going on to rave about Barton Springs, this is the whole setup that we use to pump the natural spring water into this 5-gallon container, which we then drink out of. When we get back, we're really excited to get a glass container, but for now, this one's been really great. So we don't drink out of the water in our tank, the one that comes out of the faucet, or the toilet, obviously. And instead we drink out of this. And people have asked us how this contraption works. So basically you hook one of the hoses up to this side, one hose up to the other side. We feed the hose way down into the ground where the spring comes out and is really clean. And then you just like manually pump it and it goes right into your container. If you want to check it out, here is the shower back here, so you can see we have used it on occasion, but I could count the number of times on my hand. We don't use it. Generally, we just bathe at the springs. Our shower, which we are currently using as tool shed juicer storage. We have a really nice flow with filling up the tanks. We generally do it, like I said, every 4 days, because not only is that when our freshwater tank runs down, but it's also when our black and gray water tanks are totally filled. So we go to the wastewater treatment center here in Austin where it's free to dump our tanks. We dump them, we clean really nicely, and then we go and fill them right up, or fill that one tank right up. I've seriously been thinking about making this video for like over a year since we moved out of Winnie, and now we've had this time where we're living in her again, and I've been reignited with the excitement around saving water in this way. And the coolest thing is that it's carried over and stuck with me. Like I said, like how I don't flush the toilet generally out in the world. And now when I wash the dishes, I feel like I have a way more methodical way of doing it that just uses a lot less water. For me, this is just like another fun way to play around with how I can be more resourceful and feel good about how I'm contributing to the world and the environment, etc. So if you guys have any other fun ways that you like saving water or other like cool green tips in this area, I'd love to hear about them. So feel free to post in the comment section down below or post any questions that you guys may have, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.